let us continue with our next topic related to audit and compliance, and that is basically Cloud Security Alliance and auditing the cloud for compliance. Cloud Security Alliance is basically a non-profit organization which is more into providing practices for securing the cloud architecture and auditing the cloud. Basically, from compliance point of view, has basically two types of compliance: audit compliance, that is internal compliance, and external compliance. And most of the cloud service providers are taking an initiative basically to complete the auditing in the cloud environment. So it is very important with respect to the cloud. Now let us see about that in today's session. So as I told you, CSA is basically Cloud Security Alliance, and it is a grassroots effort basically to create and apply best practices to help secure and provide assurance within the cloud computing environment. So it basically helps in providing and creating and applying the best practices specifically in a securing environment, that is to secure and provide assurance in the cloud computing environment. That is why the term Cloud Security Alliance. So basically the group is striving to provide security practitioners with comprehensive roadmap for being proactive for developing positive and secure relationship with the cloud providers. Sorry, it is basically proactive in the sense where they are taking an initiative in developing positive and secure relationship with the cloud providers. So the focus made is basically to provide security practitioners with a proper roadmap for being proactive. So the main objective or the primary objective of CSA are promote a common level of understanding between the consumer and the providers of cloud computing regarding the necessary security requirements that are basically needed in a secured environment, and basically the attestation of the assurance. So the main focus is basically how to provide security and attestation of the assurance to the various consumers and the cloud service providers. So promote independent research into best practices of cloud computing security. So this is the next objective of CSA, where they promote research, specifically independent research, and for best practices for cloud computing security. Now there are some major areas of concern, basically unique areas of concern for cloud computing, and these are basically discussed by CSA. There are around 15 domains. Let us see, it is basically given in a tabular format. So these are basically relevant to security issues and guidance, organized under 15 domains. So these are basically the 15 domains which are discussed. You can see there are 5 rows and 3 columns. So the focus area or the unique areas of concern are cloud computing architecture framework, the governance and the enterprise risk management, the legal issues that are associated with the cloud, the electronic delivery methods of the cloud, compliance and audit. This has always been a major focus area and a unique area of concern. Information lifecycle management, the way the information is managed, what is the life cycle of that, probability and portability and interoperability. So how to port the data and how to interoperate with different clouds. This is also one of the major factors or unique concern. Then you have the traditional security, business continuity and disaster recovery. How is the traditional security managed? How is the business continuity managed? And how is the disaster recovery managed? Again, another unique concern. You have the data center operations, the incident response notification and remediations, how the incident happens, what is the response taken, how are they notified, who is notified, and what are the remedy steps taken for an incident. You have the application security, encryption and key management, how is the encryption done, which is the algorithm used, what the strong algorithms are there, what are the lacunae in that specific algorithm, how are the key managed. Basically you have symmetric and asymmetric key management techniques, how are the key managed in a symmetric environment and how are the key managed in a asymmetric environment. Then identity and access management, we have seen an entire chapter on this IAM, and then storage and virtualization. So these are some of the major factors which are basically areas of concern specifically discussed by CSA. Now auditing the cloud for compliance, basically we have seen there are two types of auditing, internal audit and external audit. So we'll be focusing more about such audits and the various frameworks that are basically used. So when it comes to auditing cloud computing against the compliance requirements, there are various perspectives that must be dealt, and they are whether the organization's internal audit department expectations are for the meeting requirements met, whether the requirements basically for the internal audit are they met, as well as of course of the expectations of the external audit also need to be met regarding the requirements. So both the internal as well as external requirements, expectations for the requirements have to be met. The right to audit, that is termed as RTA basically, that's a clause is often used in outsourcing contracts to ensure that the clients can conduct audits for various assurance reasons. So right to audit is defined and it's a clause, and it is basically related to outsourcing contracts, and these basically ensure that the clients can conduct audit. The clients who are basically very important persons, they can conduct the audit basically for various assurance reasons. And in case of a CSP, the RTA also can be applied. Now customers need to define the scope for RTA. So customers need to check up to what point they can check the scope, or they can define the scope basically for the RTA, right to audit. And then for example, customers can or should validate the service, the level of performances, the security of the data at rest, and also the physical security of the data set. Basically, the factors which a customer considers or should validate are the service level performance, where the performances are managed and how they are provided, the security of the data that is at rest, and also the physical security of the data center. Data center is very important, and its specifically physical security is very important. Basically, when a disaster occurs, what will happen to the data center? So physical security of that data center is also very important. Then due to multi-tenancy and shared logical environment, we have discussed about multi-tenancy, where a lot of various organizations data is going to be stored and it's going to be logically separated, and the shared logical environment, it becomes difficult basically to conduct an audit without the CSP breaching the confidentiality. As the CSP will be having various records of various customers, so there is a possibility of he breaching the privacy of other organizations also. So there is a very less possibility that this may not happen, right? And also of other tenants basically who are sharing the architecture. So one has to be very cautious while doing such activity. So in such cases, the CSP should adopt a compliance program based on standards like ISO 27001 and provide assurance via SysTrust or ISO certification to its customer. We will be seeing about SysTrust and ISO certification in the forthcoming session. Then basically internal audit perspective, there are various key controls that must be identified early on and proactively monitored. Proactive because there will be a lot of issues basically with the internal team. So key controls must be identified basically for this, and so that the potential issues can be investigated and they can be addressed in a specific timely manner, kind of real-time manner. Then for example, failure to detect errors is in basically an automated system configuration and activity logging process, very near to a real-time basis. This, if it is not identified at real time, it could lead to system downtime and breach security, and a lot of data could be lost. So we have to see that these errors are basically detected very near to real time. Then controls should be designed in such a manner so that they are preventing the occurrence of such issues, specifically error detection issues, and near real-time detection is needed, as I told you, and rapid correction of such issues will basically go a long way towards demonstrating the CSP's commitment to security and continuous improvement. If these are handled at the right time, what will happen is the CSP is very much dedicated and is very much committed to the security, and there is always going to be a continuous improvement, and he will basically get more customers in the long term. So he has to basically focus on getting good businesses from various customers in the long term. So you have to see that any error that occurs, that should be prevented, and specifically if possible near real time, and if at all if it occurs still, it needs to be detected at near real time detection. So combined with the emphasis or automated preventive controls, proactive monitoring of key controls will help the CSP to manage risk-based IT investment decisions, meet its customer commitments, and at least keep pace with emerging developments. So basically there is a combined effort and emphasis on automated preventive controls. Basically managing manually such things will be a major issue. So there has to be an emphasis on automated preventive controls, proactive monitoring of key controls, and this will help the CSP to make the risk-based IT investment decisions better and meet its customer commitments, so all the customers' commitments can be met, and also they can keep pace with the emerging developments. So controlling monitoring activities are basically performed by the internal audit department. So internal audit is basically responsible for controlling the monitoring activities, the information security function, the IT organization, or maybe a combination of these together. So they can be combined together to perform the internal audit as a group or as separate. So external audit perspective, basically external audit happens by or is basically conducted by an external team. So external audit of a CSP will be likely require the customers to gain comfort in the effectiveness of the CSP's control. So the customers have to have an appropriate comfort with whatever effective procedures the CSPs following. So some of the CSPs basically are completing audits literally 5 or more years. Now it's basically more years because the book is pretty old, and an increasing number of CSPs, as I told you, are now initiating external audits so that they can improve on their processes, and this is basically increasing because of the market pressure also. So this is one of the audit frameworks, SAS 70. So audits of control are basically on control objectives and control activities. So here it is basically based on control objectives and control activities. These are basically defined by the service provider. So auditor opinion on the design, operational status, and operating effectiveness of the controls. So what is the auditor's opinion? Basically on the design, the operational status, and the operating effectiveness of controls. Also it is basically intended to cover services that are relevant for purposes of customers' financial statement audit source. So SysTrust again is another form of audit framework, and this in basically where audit of controls are based on the defined principles and criteria, and these basically are focusing on security, availability, confidentiality, and processing integrity. Main focus is basically the security parameters, that is security, availability, confidentiality, and processing integrity. So this is basically intended to apply to the reliability of any system. So it is basically trying to see whether the system is going to be more reliable or no. So WebTrust again is another audit framework, and this basically focuses on defined principles and criteria for security, availability, confidentiality, processing integrity, and privacy. Again major security parameters. So this is also intended to apply basically for online or e-commerce systems. Whenever you try to buy something online or some e-commerce applications are running online, this WebTrust basically applies for such applications. ISO 27001, this is basically an audit of an organization's information security management system, that is termed as ISMS, and this is basically defined as defined in a documented ISMS. There are certain documentations that are maintained, and as per the definitions in the documentation that needs to be followed to perform these tasks. These are basically various comparisons of the parameters for audit frameworks we studied. We studied about SAS 70, we studied about the trust services, basically SysTrust and WebTrust, and we basically studied about ISO 2700 certification. So there are certain topics to be considered. You can just have a look at it. Specifically the first topic is intended audience for the report. There are various types of audiences basically who are intending for the report. some of the people are the customers, some of the service organization, and some are basically the stakeholders and stakeholders of the system, or basically through the organization they will be typically publicize their certification status, but they will be limiting distributing or supporting details. So this is basically discussed under certification. You can just have a look at it, because this is a very common comparison basically for the external audit approaches. Then you have the intended purpose. For what is the purpose intended? Basically the external audit purposes, what are the reasons or what is the intention behind it. Then we have is the subject matter coverage, the various subjects that are basically covered. Some focus on the services basically the organization is giving specifically for the user organization financial statements. Some basically focus on non-financial as well as financial, and sometimes subject specific requirements are also discussed, or subject specific matter are also discussed. And then you have this ISMS basically topic for certification under ISO, and there are various non-financial systems and even financial systems that are basically based on the ISO 27001 domains. And then you have the nature of the report, the way the report is basically provided, what is the type of the nature and how it is going to be basically provided. Then you have is the comparability of the report, the various reports are comparable or no, that is basically checked, and it's basically no customized control objectives and criteria are used for each engagement under SAS 70. Similarly, you have standardized principle and criteria are used for all engagements under the Web Trust and the SIPS Trust, that is basically combined together as trust services. And then you have the standardized criteria for are basically used for all the engagements to the service provider determines, and though the service provider determines which requirement are applicable in its ISMS. And also the frequency of audit, how frequently the audits are basically performed, whether it is going to be 6 months or 12 months or annually, or maybe sometimes maybe typically in 3 years. Like for example, for ISO 2700, the certification, once it is done, it's basically valid for 3 years, and there are going to be some surveillance visits generally conducted annually. So this is basically coverage of business continuity management, that is termed as BCM, that is business continuity management, and the various things related to that are discussed. Like for example, SAS 70 cannot be included identifying and testing the operating effectiveness of such controls, specifically BCM, that could affect processing in future periods and is basically not permitted. Whereas with respect to trust services, it is basically included as a part of availability criteria, and identifying and testing forward-looking criteria specifically for PCM, and this is a part of the framework of SIS Trust and Web Trust engagements is basically permitted for trust services. Whereas with respect to ISO 27001, it is included as a part of the ISO 27001. So this is one of the criteria basically for ISO 27001. So this was the topic for today. These are certain important questions with respect to GTO exam and assignments. You can just have a look at it. Very much related to the CSA and auditing topics, that is external and internal audit. We are done for today. If you have any query, you can contact me at the specified email ID. Thank you.